Let's get into Drake Bell and Josh Peck. You guys know I was heavily involved in the Nickelodeon drama. I was actually the person who uncovered who Drake Bell's abuser was, unfortunately, but I'm glad the world knows who he is now. Nonetheless, Drake Bell and Josh Peck worked very closely on their Nickelodeon show together, but Josh Peck didn't really understand the weight of what Drake had been going through. This article reads that Drake and Josh teamed up to talk about Quiet on Set, the documentary where it looks like Josh first found out about what Drake had gone through at the hands of Brian Peck. Keep in mind that Brian Peck and Josh Peck are not related in any kind of a way. Drake revealed that the investigation into what had happened to him was happening during a break between the Amanda Show and Drake and Josh. So when they were filming their first pilot for the latter, no one had a clue because Brian hadn't been arrested yet. Drake explained he had to return to a place where his abuser was still around, comparing it to having a monster in his safe place. Josh recalled how Brian suddenly disappeared, giving him a gut feeling that there was something wrong here. But listen to what these two had to say talking about this. And honestly, it's giving very healing energy. I'm glad they did this.
I could never have known at that age was all the things you were going through.
Yeah.
For the most part, it wasn't shared with me. This separation started between us.
From Amanda Show, that was the time when we were hanging out and going bowling and staying at each other's places. And then as that big break between Drake and Josh and Amanda Show is when I told my mom what was going on. All of the stuff that you saw in the documentary, that was when all of that was going on. And then when we shot the pilot, we were in the middle of the investigation, but nobody had known anything because Brian hadn't been arrested.
Right.
So I had to come back where the dude was, where the abuse was happening.
And we're 14.
Yeah, and so now I'm coming back.
If you guys don't remember, this guy Brian drugged Drake and R-worded him, touched him, made him have sleepovers, a lot of really nasty things.
Hasn't been arrested. And I don't know if you remember, but he came and visited during the pilot, and that was an issue. But I still had to play hey, cool, whatever. Wow. You're about to get arrested, bro.
Yeah.
And you don't even know. And he's walking around set during the pilot.
Josh said he later got a text message from someone on the show telling him that Brian had been arrested and going to jail. Brian was only sentenced to 16 months in prison, and afterwards went and worked at Disney. Drake revealed that Josh Peck had reached out to him personally after watching the documentary last year, officially ending their years-long feud. Because remember, Drake Bell wasn't invited to Josh's wedding, and it got really messy, but I'm glad that they have made up. Let's get into Alabama Barker. Alabama Barker has been such a mess. This headline reads, Alabama appears to accuse UCLA cornerback Scooter Jackson of cheating on her. I mean, really, Alabama, you have a new boyfriend every few days, so I guess that's what happens when you're 19 years old. So it makes sense. She commented on a social media post writing, and next time tell UCLA not to cheat. There she is with her man's post up, and you can see the comment, and next time tell UCLA not to cheat. She really just lets anyone over at her house. Their house has no rules. I saw a video of people coming into her bedroom and meeting her for the first time. Could you imagine having people come to your bedroom? You're getting ready, doing your makeup. It's your first time ever meeting them. Hi, nice to meet you. I can understand friends coming over for a little pregame, a gathering, but this was her bedroom, and it's treated like a trap house. UCLA, the school, actually chimed in and commented back at Alabama Barker saying, leave us out of the chat. They have nothing to do with her man's cheating on her. But the messiness just got started, because then she posted another man in her room wearing his chain and talking about how they're just friends. Why does she have so many men in her room? Where are her parents? Comment below. Did your parents have rules about you having people over? Did you have to leave the door open? Because she's in there and she's got a whole football team and who knows what's going on. Oh my gosh. Look at that look. She looks like literally a 45-year-old woman. Put the wig back on, babe. Put the wig back on. This comment reads, so pretty much Bad Baby wasn't lying. Another person quoted Bad Baby's diss track, 1,000 bodies and not even old enough to drink. Another comment reads, as a parent of 2 daughters, I'm embarrassed for Travis Barker. And honestly, I'm embarrassed for Travis Barker and Kourtney Kardashian. Let's get into Diddy and Tony Busby. Now, we all know that Jay-Z is going after Tony Busby, this lawyer who's been the face of all these Diddy lawsuits. Diddy's legal archenemy, Texas attorney Tony Busby, is withdrawing himself from more than a dozen trafficking lawsuits against Diddy. It looks like he's going to remove himself as the man who represents these clients, which is honestly a red flag in my opinion. Like, wait, why would you remove yourself? I thought you were standing strong against Diddy and Jay-Z. Tony says he's backing out of the lawsuits until he is admitted to practice law in SDNY. The move comes after Diddy filed legal docs last month claiming that Tony had no business filing these lawsuits because he's not authorized to practice law in that district in New York. Okay, so that's a little bit less of a red flag. So he's just not qualified to go and file a lawsuit in the Southern District of New York because you have to do it in places where you are approved. Kind of like a therapist. Like, a therapist isn't approved for every single state. Tony says that his admission status has now become a distraction and is shifting focus away from the victims, so he's stepping back. Meanwhile, Tony does remain representing a number of other lawsuits filed against Diddy in other states, just none that are in New York. Tony says, I personally withdrew myself, not my firm, from the cases we have on file because my admission hasn't been cleared yet. I'm still attorney in charge in all of the New York cases and intend to file cases very soon in Nevada and California. I don't know how many more lawsuits can be filed against Diddy to make a difference. I feel like at this point it's a little bit plateaued, which is kind of sad because we're talking about victims and their drama, but there's been so many that I'm really looking forward to May coming around to where we have this trial and we could start seeing whether the courts are going to be on Diddy's side or on everyone else's side. Thank you for watching this clip from the Let's Get Into It podcast. To view the full episode, visit the link listed below.